wondered how much he had paid for the trunk and its contents, but refrained from asking. I'd been burned once or twice myself. It isn't a pleasant feeling, but it's not unusual in our line of business.
Tell you what, how about you give me $80 for the whole kit and caboodle? He suggested, his voice regaining a touch of the salesman's swagger. Get it out of my way. I'm sorry, Sebastian, I said with a shake of my head. I'd like to help you out, but I can't use these. The fabric is just too compromised. Nip here, tuck there. It'll be right as rain. You'll see. It would take a lot more than a nip and a tuck, I'm afraid. Maybe a professional conservator could help, but for my purposes, they're beyond repair. Well, you try to do someone a favor, and what do I get for my trouble? Ripped off is what? Sebastian made a face as if smelling something unpleasant and said in a falsetto, My uncle needs money. He's selling off all his antiques. Can't you help him out? Sweet young thing comes in here and twists me around her little finger. I'm just too nice a guy, is what? Next time try thinking with your brain, I thought, but I did not say it aloud. We stood side by side for a moment, staring at the open trunk.
That's when I felt it. Something emanating from beneath the stack of linens.
I have a special affinity for clothing, for textiles of all kinds, actually. It's hard to explain why or how. I'm not sensitive to what most psychics are, such as metal and stone, though maybe that's because I'm not a psychic. I'm a witch. A powerful witch, too, though not always on top of her magical abilities. I never finished my formal training in the craft, so I am still learning as I go along. I can brew with the best of them, but divination and most psychometrics escape me. But clothes I can read. They absorb the vibrations of the people who have worn them and emit a wisp of that human energy. Before moving to San Francisco and finding a community of friends, I had lived a lonely and isolated life. The sensations I picked up from cast-off clothing had offered solace and connection to others, and old clothes had become not just a passion but a profession. Even given my particular sensitivities, though, I wasn't normally able to hear a piece calling to me. But there were vibrations coming from something in that trunk. Strong vibrations. Sebastian slammed the lid shut, muttering under his breath, Worthless piece of...
Wait. His eyes flew to mine. Mind if I take another look? I asked.
Why, surely. You take all the time you need. A calculating gleam entered Sebastian's watery blue eyes as he lifted the trunk lid with a flourish. Don't see specimens like this every day, am I right? Work a bit of the old magic on them and they'll be good as new. I gave a start of surprise, which I turned into a shrug when I realized the magic he was referring to was just a turn of phrase. And frankly, I could brew for a week nonstop and not reconstitute those decaying threads. Even my strongest magic didn't work that way. But when Sebastian opened the trunk, I heard it again. Something was in the trunk calling to me. I heard it, felt it, deep in my gut, and in a tingling in my fingertips.
May I? I asked.
Just don't hurt anything, or you bought it, like the sign says. He jabbed a finger in the direction of a large sign, grimy with age, hanging above the register. You break it, you bought it. It wouldn't take much more than a strong gust of wind to damage these pieces, I thought. Gingerly, I lifted the top garments from the trunk and set them aside. Men's clothes in one pile, women's in another. My practiced eye recognized these yellowing white cotton shirts, petticoats, and bloomers had once been fine quality garments, but now they were falling apart. The linens beneath them were in somewhat better condition, but still too far gone to sell. Taking care to disturb the clothes as little as possible, I dug deeper. My fingers touched something soft and fine, like the coat of a baby bunny. I peeked in. Velvet. What's this? Do you know? I asked. Sebastian shrugged. I didn't look through it, and to tell you the truth. The girl who brought it in said her uncle was desperate for cash, and the whole trunk came across from Boston back in the day with the pioneers. Probably some cockamamie story. Tell you what, I have too big a heart. That's my problem. She sold me a few decorative items that might be worth something, so I just took this as part of the deal. Would you mind if I examined this velvet piece? Sebastian rubbed his hands together. How about you buy the lot and it's yours? Think about it. This trunk came from Boston with the pine.